Okay. This evening, one of our topics we're going to be talking about is the assessor's office and how the assessor's office works with the school district leaders. And of course, we all know that we have to have money to operate. And in the school business, the assessor's office is extremely important as we try to work with our taxpayers on supporting our schools. And so my guest this evening is Lisa Perry, and Lisa Perry is with the Jasper County's Assessor's Office. And so Jasper County, just for those of you that don't know, is Jasper County would be Carthage and Joplin and Webb City and Carterville and Oronogo and Jasper and Sarcoxie. So that area down in there all includes Jasper County, and we like to have these experts in the field that can give us the real world aspects of what their jobs are. So Lisa, thank you for joining me today. And Lisa, would you introduce me, introduce us to who you are and what you do with the Jasper County's Assessor's Office?
Okay, great. I'm a hometown Carthage girl. Been here all my life. My name's Lisa Perry. I'm married to my husband John. We have 5 children, 8 wonderful grandchildren. I've been with the county assessor's office for 22 years, and I will be the newly elected assessor for the 2021 tax year. So,
Well, fantastic. See, Lisa, I didn't know that. That's fantastic. Congratulations. So,
thank you.
wonderful. So, Lisa, of course, you're going to become the assessor, and so tell me a little bit about what the assessor's office does in general. We'll deal more about schools here in a second, but just tell us what the assessor's office does, and maybe it's important to say what the assessor's office does not do also.
Okay. Well, I mean, the assessor's office brings in the total assessed value. I mean, we're the ones that collect the total assessed value for the county for their total operations. We assess real estate, commercial property, and agricultural property within the county, and we have personal property as well, which is vehicles, boats, trailers, livestock, farm machinery, businesses, and any leased personal property equipment. And
Great. So let's dig into the we'll start out with real estate first of all. How does your office go through and say this house is worth that much?
Okay, so we use a mass appraisal system. So it's not like an individual appraisal. So we're mass, and we are currently using Tyler Technology, which the software is IAS World, and the cost tables are built based on Marshall and Swift. And for Marshall and Swift, you can take and break it down for even to the town of Joplin, which is definitely Jasper County, and it gives us the square foot cost for just about everything. I mean, for concrete, for what it would be for a deck, a garage, a commercial structure, a gazebo. And then we enter that information into our CAMA system, and then there's a depreciation scale that is set in there as well. So as the home ages or any other structure ages, it will depreciate over time. And
So
the system then calculates the value for it.
wonderful.
And that value, I'm sorry.
No, so like for example, just as an example, let's say there's a new construction in let's say and I have to be careful about this because I'm a native of Jasper County, but let's say there's a growing area of the county where it's very desirable to build a home, but there may be other areas of the county that are are less I shouldn't say less desirable, but let's just say that maybe the values of the homes are not the same. Are issues like that also, do they take into account when you assess the value of the property? That basically saying is that if we build the same house in a very rural area of Jasper County, is that same house being built in a fast growing area of Joplin going to be the same value?
Basically, the house is the same value. It just depends on the location. So for that type of situation where you have a more desirable place, we set that influence based on land prices. And so in a less desirable or not as populated, those land prices are less than some of the more desirable land prices. But the house itself, so is the same. If you built the same house in, I don't want to pick on a town.
I know
in
it's
one
sort of
that
hard to go through and do it. So maybe it's easier to do it in another county. Yeah? Maybe go outside of Jasper County. So,
okay.
but I get what you're meaning. Is that there are those areas of the county where there's lots of people building homes, and there are areas of the county that
Correct.
people are no longer building homes. So yeah.
Correct. So it's the same house. I mean, so if you took the same house and you built it in two different locations, depending on the land value, that's going to affect that as well. So, I mean, land definitely holds, you know, just like if you want to go buy land, you know, you can buy land definitely cheaper in some areas of the county than you can in other areas. So that's kind of where the difference comes into play. So when somebody constructs a house, we grade it based off of, we go based off of the grade of the material, which that sets the grade of the house. So we have like superior, excellent, good, or good plus, good minus, and then it just factors all the way down to very poor minus, or very poor plus. So depending on the materials that was used for the house depends on the grade that the house receives.
Okay, and again, Lisa, is that I know she talked about the software package and I by the way, it's ironic that you mentioned Tyler Technology, because that's a same company that does a lot of the software for school districts too. So Tyler
Yes.
Technology is one of the ones that does a lot of the school district student information systems also. So so all of that data it's coming in some type of software package. And so does this involve actually going out and visiting the homes anymore? I know that sometimes when I drive around, every once in a while I'll see a vehicle that has a sign post on the outside that says they're the assessor's office. Are you going out and actually doing a visual inspection also?
Yes, every year. Every year we drive the entire county. And now every other year in Missouri is a reassessment year on the odd years. So we are now reviewing for 2021. So we are looking at absolutely everything in the odd years. And that is also the years that we can make any changes that we need to make other than new construction. New construction can come on at any time. And Jasper County is also an occupancy county as well. So if somebody constructs a new home and they move into it, say, in March, we can put it on as of April 1st for the tax year.
I understand. So when you're going out and driving the county, what are you looking for?
We're looking at anything that may have possibly changed on the property, if they've built something new, or if they've removed something, or if possibly something, you know, say for instance, a storm came through and it was damaged, but the structure is still there, so it's in a less condition than what it was before. We make those adjustments as well.
Yeah, and so. Well, and I guess I'm just curious how this is done. So, for example, if somebody builds a new swimming pool and adds to their property, how do you find out? Is it from those visual inspections?
It is from the visual inspection. It's from some of the cities within the county, and the health department will send us. If you come in, if you're the back up 2 minutes for that. So we do get permits, and then we follow up on the review.
Got it. We're having a little bit of audio difficulty. I could still hear you, but no, I understand. So let's go into a different area. So and when we all get the assessor's sheet, whenever you send out the assessor's sheet, I think you mentioned that earlier. There's a lot of things that are also listed on there, like your vehicles, and if you own trailers, and animals and livestock and things like that. Can you talk a little bit about how those are valued?
Vehicles we're mandated by statute that we use the NADA value for vehicles, and that would be the October edition. So for 2021, we will use the October edition of 2020 for our values for 2021. And usually the assessment is a third of the value of the vehicle.
Got it. And
And
so
then
is it the same way on things like livestock and trailers?
trailers is like that. Livestock is the state sets the livestock values, and then they send that information on to us, and then we enter it within the system. But farm machinery, like tractors and all of that, we ask for the year purchased, the purchase price, and then the computer system will then, we assess it at 12% of the purchase price, but the computer system allows for depreciation over time on that, on farm machinery as well.
Great. And while, of course, you're speaking from Jasper County, we have people in our program from every county in the state of Missouri, it seems like. And so is the process the same for an assessor's office in every county in Missouri?
Yes, yes.
So that's established by state statute. It's not something that's a locally controlled issue, right?
Correct. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So talk a bit more about reassessment. What is the reassessment and why is it done?
Well, we are bound to, by statute, we are to be within 10% of fair market value on real estate, and that's 10% above or 10% below. And I mean, it's somewhat of a challenge for us up here, especially right now with the way the market is. It's just crazy. I mean, a house is not staying on the market and they're paying above cost, so it makes it a challenge. And Missouri is a non-disclosure state as well, which that really hinders us. So we have to perform, we do what we call a sales ratio study based on sales letters that we mail out when real estate transfers, and the return rate on those are probably somewhere around 30 to 35%. And so when we get that back, we enter that into our computer system just for our study, so we can see where we lie within our ratio. And like I said, it's really difficult right now because I've always described it as we have to do a job with one eye shut and both arms tied behind our back. And that's it.
Yeah, I certainly understand. I hadn't realized that, but I can understand how difficult that would be. I didn't realize that people didn't have to disclose how much a home sold for.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, they don't. And if they challenge the value, I mean, I don't know if you want to go into that.
I do want to go. In fact, that's my next question is if I don't like my assessment, what do I do?
Perfect. Good question. You do not call the assessor's office in November when you get your bill because your bill is too high. We hear that a lot. Yeah. And every spring, once we finish our review for 2021, we will then send out impact notices. And anybody that has an assessed increase of more than, I believe, an assessed increase of more than $300, I believe, receives an impact notice. And on that impact notice, it's telling you, it's a little form, it's white with red and blue writing on it that people never pay attention to, but they really need to. But it's telling you that your value has increased. And, on there is a time period as to when they can call in. So people will call into the office and we'll do what we call an informal hearing, which we're just discussing it over the phone. Some people do come in and we'll pull up their property record card. I usually read over it and tell them exactly what we have. And then I ask them why they think it's overvalued. And then we will then discuss that. Then we send them a letter back of change or no change. Once they receive that, then their next step, if they're still dissatisfied, is that they schedule an appointment with the Board of Equalization, which is held here in the county. And then that's actually where they come in and meet. Some do it by phone. There's a board present. Board members are actually present, and the assessor does not, or the assessor staff does not have a voting. We cannot cast a vote on that. The board itself has to do that. And then the taxpayer is to bring their evidence as to why they feel that it's overvalued. Then we will send them back after the board is over a letter again of change or no change. And then at that point, they still have one more step, and that is they can file an appeal with the State Tax Commission. And that is actually a hearing where a hearing officer comes to the county, or they used to until COVID hit, and then we had to do them by phone. But they would come to the county, and we would actually come in. You're sworn in, and they make the final ruling on what the value should or should not be.
And Lisa, when we talk about the Board of Equalization, how is that board selected? Where do they come from?
That the county clerk, you're testing me on this. I believe it has to be. You have to have so many outside board members. In the past, typically we've liked like somebody that has real estate knowledge, either a realtor or title company or something, an investment person, a banker, sometimes just a common citizen, that is unbiased. So, and then the commission are then on the board.
But these people aren't necessarily elected; they're appointed to that position.
Correct. Yes, they are appointed, or they're volunteering, because I don't think the county can compensate them for that either.
Great. I got it. So, maybe that is a good point because as my experience, and I'm a retired superintendent of schools, so I understand that too. And so, people, like you said, when those tax bills come out from the county clerk's office and or the collector's office, whichever office it comes from, and then I know this sounds terrible, especially Lisa in your position, but everybody wants to argue with the assessor. And can you at least talk us through that a little bit and just make it clear that it's not the assessor's office that sets the levy?
That is correct. The levy is voted upon by the citizens, and I tell them that quite often. I think most of the time when they call in, I make it my personal goal I want them to leave as a friend, or I want to be a friend at the end of the conversation. And I think once they kind of understand it, and they agree to the value that we have on their home, and then it becomes the dreaded bill part of it. I tell them, I said, that part is out of our hands. We just set the value.
Yeah. Got it. So now let's move over. And again, all of the people that are in my classes are people that are aspiring superintendents of schools. They want to be the person that's in charge. And of course, when you get that tax bill in the mail, in most cases, the largest part of that tax bill is going to the school district because of the school district levy. And again, we understand that the assessor's office has nothing to do with that levy from any of the governmental agencies that draw money from the levies and the assessments and things like that you have nothing to do with that. But when does the assessor's office, or does the assessor's office ever work with the school districts? Are there ever times that you're having to work with Webb City or Carthage or Joplin school officials?
Yes, and I hope to improve on that as well. But we have went over and met with them, and just kind of keep them in the loop of, I know in the past they've met with them to let them know, the market's not really moving right now. I don't foresee an increase, in assessment other than new construction, or, hey, it's moving right now. We do need to increase. But yes, I would love to bridge that gap between the assessor's office and the superintendents and have a better communication on that we do have, but I usually only hear from them one time a year, and that's when they want to know the top 10 taxpayers within the county. So.
You bet. I got it. And I'll do, this is a question out of my personal knowledge more than anything, is that when I was superintendent in a district at one time, we had a large agricultural operation that I don't know how to describe this diplomatically, but let's just say lots of cows were being moved at certain times of year to deal, I think, with one school district had a smaller levy than a very close geographic neighboring school district, and some cows would get moved from one location to the other. So how do you handle those things as far as, and I'll just use an example, and this isn't my example, but let's say somebody is in the Jasper School District, but when it comes time for assessment, they move them across the line up into Barton County, maybe for a temporary period. Is there a specific date that is the date of wherever those cows or that property? It could also be equipment too, obviously. It could be trucks and things like that. What is the date, and how do we decide about whether that semi truck or that cow is a Jasper County cow or it's a Barton County cow, for example?
It's where it was located as of January 1st.
January 1st.
That's the magical date for personal property.
Okay, good deal.
So if somebody's going to buy a brand new car, you obviously want to go buy it January 2nd.
Got it. Well, there's a lot of people that always knew that game better than I did, and I never. It was just very frustrating. We would see things around the school district, but then they would disappear over winter, but then they would return in the spring, and so we always sort of wondered how that. So January 1st, that's a good date to know. Okay, Lisa.
Right.
So just to wrap this up, and again, thinking about the people that are in my classes are going to be future superintendents. Any ideas or any advice that you would like to give to these new superintendents about how they would work with an assessor's office?
Just reach out to us, ask questions. I mean, build a good relationship with the assessor's office, and that's about all I can say.
Great. Like you said, there's only certain times of the year that all of a sudden the school leaders want to talk to the assessor. Maybe we should be talking at the other times of the year too. So,
yes.
Okay. Great. Okay. Well, I want to appreciate it. I thank you. And Lisa, I'm going to stop recording here now. So give me just a second here.